Chapter 18. The Final Battle. The ritual commenced, with Agnes leading the chant. Jake, Sarah, and Matt poured their energy into the circle, their voices merging with Agnes's to create a powerful, harmonious resonance. The light from the stars intensified, bathing the town in a surreal, otherworldly glow. The entity roared in defiance, its form shifting and contorting as it struggled against the binding force. The ground beneath them cracked, and a dark, swirling vortex began to form. The entity's power was immense, but the combined strength of the townspeople and the celestial alignment was greater. In a final, desperate push, Jake stepped forward, channeling all his energy into a single, piercing note. The light around them blazed brighter, the stars above aligning perfectly. The entity let out a final, agonized scream as it was pulled into the vortex, its form disintegrating into nothingness. Chapter 19. The Dawn of a New Era. As the first light of dawn broke over Frostbrook, the air was filled with a profound sense of peace. The darkness had been vanquished, the entity destroyed once and for all. The town, though weary and battered, rejoiced in their hard-won victory. Agnes, her task complete, passed the mantle of protector to Jake, Sarah, and Matt. She knew they would lead the town with wisdom and courage. With a final blessing, she faded into the background, content in the knowledge that her work was done. Frostbrook flourished in the years that followed, the memory of the darkness a distant echo. The story of the brave souls who had faced the entity became legend, a testament to the power of unity and courage. The town prospered, its people living in harmony with the land and each other. Jake, Sarah, and Matt continued to watch over Frostbrook, their vigilance never wavering. They taught the next generation the importance of community, resilience, and preparedness. And though the shadows had been banished, they remained ever watchful, ready to protect their home from any threat that might arise. In the heart of winter, when the snow fell thick and the nights grew long, the townsfolk would gather around the fire, sharing stories of the past and looking forward to the future. They knew that as long as they stood together, no darkness could ever truly conquer the light. And so, in the small town of Frostbrook, nestled in the embrace of the mountains, life went on, filled with hope, love, and the promise of new beginnings. Chapter 20. Unexpected Visitor. Several peaceful winters had passed since the defeat of the entity, and Frostbrook thrived. On a quiet, snowy evening, an unexpected visitor arrived in town. A young woman named Lydia, shivering and weary from travel, stumbled into the local inn. Her arrival was met with curiosity and concern, as she bore an uncanny resemblance to Emily, the brave soul who had sacrificed herself years ago. Lydia claimed to have no knowledge of Emily or the events of the past, but she carried an old locket with the Marlowe family crest. Jake, Sarah, and Matt, now the elders of the town, were struck by the coincidence. They welcomed her warmly, sensing she might be connected to their past in ways she herself did not understand. Chapter 21. Unraveling the Mystery. Intrigued by Lydia's arrival, Jake and Sarah delved into the town's archives, uncovering more about the Marlowe family lineage. they discovered that Elizabeth Marlowe had a sister who had fled the town before the darkness took hold. It seemed possible that Lydia was a descendant of this sister, bringing the Marlowe bloodline full circle back to Frostbrook. As Lydia settled into town, strange dreams began to plague her. Visions of the Marlowe house, the entity, and the ancient rituals. She confided in Jake, Sarah, and Matt, who recognized the significance of her dreams. They realized that despite their victory, remnants of the entity's power might still linger, connected to Lydia through her bloodline. Chapter 22: The Unearthed Artifact. One day, while exploring the remains of the Marlowe house, Lydia uncovered a hidden chamber beneath the rubble. Inside, they found an ancient artifact, a beautifully carved box with intricate symbols that matched those in the ancient text. Agnes had never mentioned this artifact, and its purpose was unclear. Jake, Sarah, and Matt enlisted the help of scholars and occultists from neighboring towns to decipher the box's secrets. Through their research, they learned that the artifact was a powerful protective charm, designed to seal away malevolent forces permanently. However, it required the blood of a Marlowe descendant to activate its full potential. Chapter 23: The Sacrifice Revisited. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Lydia felt a deep sense of duty to her ancestors and the town that had become her home. The ritual to activate the artifact would be dangerous, but it was the only way to ensure that the entity, or any remnant of its power, would never threaten Frostbrook again. Jake, Sarah, and Matt prepared the town for the ritual, just as they had done years before. The townspeople, now experienced in facing such threats, rallied around Lydia, offering their support and protection. The bond of community that had saved them once before was stronger than ever. Chapter 24: The Eternal Seal. On the night of the winter solstice, under a clear, star-filled sky, Lydia stood at the center of the town square. The artifact, now glowing with an ethereal light, pulsed in her hands. Jake, Sarah, and Matt formed a protective circle around her, their determination unwavering. Lydia began the incantation, her voice strong and clear. As she spoke, the ground trembled and a dark, swirling mist rose from the earth, remnants of the entity's power seeking to escape. The townspeople held their ground, their collective will forming a barrier against the darkness. As the ritual reached its climax, Lydia made a small cut on her palm, letting a few drops of her blood fall onto the artifact. The symbols on the box flared to life, and a blinding light erupted from within, enveloping the town. The dark mist screamed and writhed before being sucked into the artifact, which sealed shut with a resounding finale. Chapter 25: A New Dawn. The first light of dawn brought a new sense of peace and security to Frostbrook. The artifact, now inert, was buried deep beneath the town, its power dormant, but ready to protect if ever needed again. Lydia, though exhausted, was hailed as a hero, her bravery ensuring the town's safety for generations to come. Jake, Sarah, and Matt, their roles as protectors fulfilled, continued to guide the town with wisdom and care. They knew that the future held its own challenges, but they were confident that the spirit of Frostbrook would endure. Years turned into decades, and Frostbrook grew and prospered. The story of the entity and the heroes who had faced it became a cherished part of the town's history, passed down through the generations. Lydia, who had started a family of her own, ensured that the legacy of courage and unity was never forgotten. On cold winter nights, when the snow fell thick and the wind howled through the trees, the townsfolk would gather around the fire, sharing tales of bravery and resilience. They would look to the sky, confident that as long as they stood together, no darkness could ever dim the light of Frostbrook. And so, in the small town nestled in the mountains, the spirit of the past lived on, a beacon of hope and strength for all who called Frostbrook home. Chapter 26: A Whisper from the Past. Life in Frostbrook continued peacefully, with the town growing and thriving. The protective artifact remained buried, a silent guardian. One winter, as the town prepared for its annual festival, a young boy named Thomas, Lydia's grandson, began to experience strange dreams. Thomas saw visions of the past, of the battles fought against the darkness. He saw Emily, the entity, and the rituals. One night, he dreamed of a figure shrouded in light who spoke to him, warning of a new threat that was not a direct remnant of the entity, but something darker, something that sought to exploit the town's past traumas. Chapter 27: The Forgotten Enemy. Thomas confided in his grandmother Lydia, who listened with growing concern. She recognized the signs and realized that Frostbrook might once again be in danger. Lydia, now elderly but still sharp, called upon Jake, Sarah, and Matt to discuss Thomas's dreams. Together, they delved into the town's history and discovered a hidden chapter, a malevolent force that had once tried to invade the town centuries before the entity. This force had been weakened and driven away by the Marlowe ancestors, but had never been fully defeated. It had waited, biding its time, growing stronger. Chapter 28: Rallying the Town. With the new threat looming, Lydia, Jake, Sarah, and Matt knew they needed to act swiftly. They called a town meeting, explaining the situation and the importance of unity. The townspeople, though shocked, rallied together, trusting their leaders who had protected them before. Preparations began in earnest. The town's defenses were fortified, and everyone, young and old, learned how to protect themselves and each other. Agnes's teachings were revived, and new rituals were studied to combat the ancient threat. Chapter 29: The Rising Darkness. As winter deepened, the signs of the coming threat grew more pronounced. Strange occurrences plagued the town: eerie lights in the forest, animals acting erratically, and an oppressive feeling that settled over Frostbrook. The once festive atmosphere turned tense as the townspeople braced for the impending danger. Thomas's dreams became more vivid and detailed, providing crucial information about the enemy. He saw visions of a dark, ancient figure, cloaked in shadows, commanding a legion of spectral creatures. This figure sought to harness the lingering energy of the defeated entity to reclaim its power. Chapter 30: The Battle Begins. On the coldest night of the year, the ancient enemy struck. Dark figures emerged from the forest, moving swiftly and silently toward the town. The spectral creatures, twisted and terrifying, attacked without mercy. The town's defenses were put to the test, and the battle for Frostbrook's survival began. Jake, Sarah, Matt and Lydia led the charge, their experience and knowledge guiding the townspeople. Thomas, despite his youth, played a crucial role, using his dreams to anticipate the enemy's moves and weaknesses. The town's unity and resilience shone through as they fought back against the dark forces. Chapter 31: Confronting the Darkness. As the battle raged, Lydia and Thomas realized that the only way to defeat the ancient enemy was to confront it directly. They ventured into the forest, guided by Thomas's visions, to find the source of the darkness. Jake, Sarah, and Matt followed, their determination unwavering. Deep in the forest, they discovered an ancient altar, the heart of the enemy's power. The dark figure stood before it, a menacing presence. Lydia began a powerful incantation, passed down through generations, while Thomas faced the figure, his courage bolstered by the spirits of his ancestors. Chapter 32: The Final Confrontation. The air crackled with energy as Lydia's incantation grew stronger. The dark figure, realizing the threat, attacked with a fury, but Thomas stood his ground. Jake, Sarah, and Matt fought off the spectral creatures, protecting Lydia as she completed the ritual. With a final, resounding chant, Lydia unleashed the power of the protective artifact. A blinding light erupted from the altar, engulfing the dark figure and its minions. The forest trembled, and the darkness was torn apart, dissipating into nothingness. Chapter 33: A New Dawn. As the first light of dawn broke, the forest and town were calm once more. The ancient enemy had been vanquished, its power shattered. The townspeople, though exhausted, rejoiced in their victory. Frostbrook had faced yet another trial and emerged stronger. Lydia, proud of her grandson and her town, passed on the mantle of protector to Thomas, ensuring that the knowledge and strength of their lineage would continue. The town celebrated their triumph, knowing that as long as they remained united, they could face any challenge. Years turned into decades, and Thomas grew into a wise and respected leader. He continued the legacy of his ancestors, teaching the next generation the importance of unity, resilience, and vigilance. The story of Frostbrook's battles against darkness became a cherished part of the town's history. On cold winter nights, when the snow fell thick and the wind howled through the trees, the townsfolk would gather around the fire, sharing tales of bravery and hope. They knew that as long as they stood together, no darkness could ever truly conquer the light. And so, in the small town nestled in the mountains, the spirit of the past lived on, a beacon of hope and strength for all who called Frostbrook home. Thomas, the guardian of Frostbrook, watched over his town with pride, knowing that its future was bright and secure. Chapter 34: The Legacy of the Ancients. Winter after winter, Frostbrook enjoyed peace and prosperity, its people thriving under the guidance of Thomas and the wisdom of their elders. However, even in times of peace, vigilance remained paramount. Thomas, now a seasoned leader, often reflected on the lessons of the past and the responsibilities of safeguarding the town. One snowy evening, as he sifted through the town's ancient records, Thomas discovered a hidden compartment in the Marlowe family archives. Inside was a weathered scroll, its delicate parchment covered in cryptic symbols. The scroll detailed a prophecy that spoke of a great convergence of light and darkness, a final trial that would determine the fate of Frostbrook forever. Chapter 35: A New Omen. As the years passed, a new generation grew up in Frostbrook, unaware of the battles their ancestors had fought. The townspeople, while still vigilant, began to focus more on their everyday lives and less on the potential threats. The scroll Thomas had found weighed heavily on his mind, and he knew that preparation was essential. One winter, an unexpected visitor arrived in Frostbrook, a mysterious wanderer named Alara. She claimed to be a seer, guided by visions of an impending great convergence. Her arrival coincided with a series of strange natural phenomena, unseasonable storms, unusual animal behavior, and an eerie aurora borealis that lingered in the night sky. Alara's presence stirred both curiosity and suspicion among the townspeople. She spoke of an ancient power rising and offered her knowledge to help them prepare. Thomas, sensing the truth in her words, welcomed her assistance, even as he kept a watchful eye on her. Chapter 36: Gathering Allies. Thomas and Alara worked tirelessly to decipher the ancient scroll and understand the nature of the impending convergence. They realized that the convergence would bring forth both immense light and darkness, a final trial that would require every ounce of strength and unity the town could muster. To prepare, they reached out to neighboring communities, seeking allies and sharing knowledge. Frostbrook's reputation for resilience and bravery drew many willing to help. Among them were scholars, warriors, and healers, each bringing their unique skills to aid in the coming battle. The town became a bustling hub of activity, with training sessions, strategy meetings, and rituals to fortify their defenses. The sense of urgency was palpable, but so was the spirit of cooperation and determination. Chapter 37: The First Signs. As the winter solstice approached, the first signs of the convergence became evident. The aurora borealis intensified, casting an otherworldly glow over Frostbrook. Strange creatures began to appear at the town's borders, testing their defenses and spreading fear among the people. Alara's visions grew more frequent and intense, guiding Thomas and the town's leaders in their preparations. She spoke of a hidden power within Frostbrook, a light that could counter the darkness if they could find and harness it. This light, she believed, was tied to the town's very essence and the courage of its people. Chapter 38: The Hidden Light. Determined to uncover the source of this hidden power, Thomas led a group of trusted allies on an expedition into the depths of the forest surrounding Frostbrook. Guided by Alara's visions, they ventured into uncharted territory, facing numerous challenges and discovering long-forgotten secrets of the land. In a secluded glade, they found an ancient tree, its roots intertwining with the ruins of an old sanctuary. The tree emanated a soft, warm light, and Alara confirmed that this was the source of the hidden power. The sanctuary, once a place of worship and protection, held the key to harnessing the light needed to combat the convergence. Through careful rituals and ceremonies, Thomas and his allies awakened the tree's power, channeling its energy into a protective talisman. This talisman, infused with the essence of the ancient sanctuary, would serve as their beacon of hope in the battle to come. Chapter 39: The Convergence. On the night of the winter solstice, Frostbrook was ready. The sky above shimmered with the aurora borealis, casting an eerie glow over the town. The air was charged with anticipation and determination. The townspeople, their allies, and their leaders stood united, ready to face whatever came their way. As the convergence began, a rift opened in the sky, and a torrent of dark energy poured forth. From the rift emerged shadowy figures and spectral creatures, more fearsome than any they had faced before. But with them also came a brilliant light, illuminating the battlefield and giving the defenders a fighting chance. Thomas, bearing the protective talisman, led the charge. Alara, her visions guiding her, supported him with powerful incantations. The townspeople fought valiantly, their unity and courage shining through the darkness. The light from the talisman seemed to resonate with their collective will, creating a barrier that repelled the dark forces. Chapter 40: The Final Battle. The battle raged through the night, each side pushing and pulling in a desperate struggle for dominance. The dark energy sought to overwhelm the town, but the light of Frostbrook, amplified by the talisman, held firm. The ancient power of the tree and the sanctuary infused the defenders with strength and resilience. In the midst of the chaos, Thomas faced the leader of the dark forces, a formidable being cloaked in shadow. Their duel was intense, each blow a clash of light and darkness. With Alara's guidance and the support of his allies, Thomas tapped into the full power of the talisman, channeling the ancient light to strike a decisive blow. As the dark leader fell, the rift in the sky began to close, the dark energy dissipating into the ether. The creatures of darkness retreated, their power broken by the combined might of Frostbrook's defenders.